Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today I'm going to be recreating a look done by Ellimacks. I will leave all of her information down below so you can go check her out, including her YouTube channel and her Instagram. I highly recommend you do so because she is absolutely amazing. So I started off by making this prosthetic ahead of time. I made it with some latex paste and I did it on my face cast. For the eyeball, I just rolled out a ball of Model Magic, cut that in half, and then put it into the latex paste as it was drying. Use some yarn and some wood glue for the sheen on top. And then using an eye pencil, I'm just going to outline loosely and draw out the sections. So I'm going to go in and prime the eye that's not going to be covered. I'm using some Smashbox 24-hour shadow primer. And then for the patch where my lips are, I'm just going to go ahead and use a very light concealer and lighten up the skin in that patch. And then because Ellie does have bigger lips than I do, I'm just going to use some hard candy lip plumping gloss, and I'm just going to apply that to my lips. And then for the glam patch, I'm going to use the Pretty Bulgur bronzer, and I'm just going to contour the areas in that patch. And then going in with the Morphe 15H palette, I'm using the shade Mixer as a transition shade. Next, going in with the Collective Cosmetics Moon Twin palette, I'm using the shade Tryst, and I'm just putting that in my crease. And then in that same palette, I'm just going to use my finger and pat on the shade Orbit, and I'm putting that on the outer half of my lid. Then going back in with that 15H palette, I'm using the shade Last Call, and I'm just going to deepen up the crease a little. And then for the inner half of my lid, I'm going in with the shade Rooftop from that same palette. And then going back in and using the same brush that I used for my crease, I'm just going to drag that on the lower lash line. And then using the highlight shade from the e.l.f. XJ Kissa palette, I'm just going to be putting this onto the inner corner of my eyes. And then finally just using a brow pencil to fill in my brows. Once I have that done, I'm going in with a black eye pencil and just lining my upper and lower water lines, and then going in with the Wet n Wild black liquid liner to create a wing. Next, I'm just going to coat my lashes and then apply some fake lashes. For the blue toned patch, I'm going in with Mater Makeup Labs in the shade Code Blue, and I'm just deepening up the contour areas inside that patch. Next, for the green patch, I'm going in with my Mayron palette and using the shade Amazon Green, and I'm just going to fill in that patch. And then because this was a little greener than I wanted it to be, I'm going back in and using Festi Face palette in the shade Mustard, and I'm just combining those colors together. Once that's dry, I'm going in with a yellow toned powder and just dulling out the color even more. And then to contour inside this patch, I'm going in with Mater Makeup Labs in the shade Septic, and I'm contouring and shading my collarbone. And then for the brown patch, I'm going in with a brown cream contour shade, and I'm just going to fill in the entire patch. And then going back in with that Pretty Bulgur bronzer, I'm just going to use this to dirty up the green shade. And then because I wanted some of the dirt on this patch to look a little deeper, I went in with the CoverFX contouring palette and I'm just deepening up some of that brown. And then going back in with that Morphe 15H palette, I'm using the shade 5 PM and I'm just going to be creating the shading around all of the patches, leaving a little section of highlight between each. And then to fill in the actual sections between the patches, I'm going in with Global Body Art's Rose Brown shade and I'm just creating the separations. I'm also going to be widening the areas where those sections connect. And then to apply that prosthetic, I'm using a little bit of latex. I'm just going to be patting it onto the edges of that prosthetic. I'm also going to be putting a little bit on my face to make it stick a little bit better. I'm going to avoid my brows and the section where my actual eyeball is. Once I have that done, I'm going back in with that contour shade. I'm going around the patches and the prosthetic. I'm also taking this contouring shade onto that prosthetic itself and deepening up where some of these sunken in areas should be. And then to deepen up that actual eye socket, I'm going in with the Makeup Revolution's Marvelous Mattes palette and using the black. And then I did go outside and just pick some moss out of my yard for this green patch, so I'm just separating the little pieces and applying that with some liquid latex. And then going back in with that rose brown body paint, I'm just going to take this around the prosthetic patch. And then for the stitches, I had a piece of extra faux leather fabric. I just cut that into little strips and then I'm using some latex to apply it. And then to start the bruises on that shoulder patch, I'm going in with the Marvelous Mattes palette again and going in with this mauve color and just making blotchy sections. I'm also going to do the same thing with the teal and the yellow in this same palette. And then for my lips, I'm going in with the L'Oreal Infallible Lipstick in Roseblood, and I'm just going to fill in my lips. And to create the cuts in the patch where my lips are, I'm just going to be using my finger in that rose brown body paint and just creating some scratch marks and some kind of like road rash kind of. And I'm using my nail and just making the streaks and then using my finger to pat that out. I'm also going to be using this to make it look like I have a bloody nose. With that all done, I'm going in finally with some Mehron Squirt Blood and just allowing it to drip from a bunch of those sections. And that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please let me know in the comments below if you did, and head over to her channel so you can check her out. Again, a big thank you to Ellimacks for this giveaway and congrats on 1 million subs. See you next time. Bye.